So, Doug, thank you for meeting us again for the second interview as we prepare for the Iluman retreat this September, where we're going to be looking at propelling mindful masculinity forward on that prophetic path. And as we discussed before, Scott being a fan of the prophets, and he was prophetic in getting you here, working with us to put you on our radar and get you here. Thank you, Scott. And the same with Scott being prophetic and having us turn our attention towards the wonderful work of Homeboy Industries. And with you serving as one of our wisdom teachers in regards to the Enneagram and money, a mindful masculinity, and how money can serve the Beatitudes, serve humanity, serve ourselves as we do some healing work and some shadow work in our individual lives and collectively around money. Um, in this interview, what we'd like to do is ask you just give the listener some examples of like, okay, there's nine types, and
Right.
I don't understand what kind of is that, what does that mean? I
Right.
know I'm a seven and Scott's a two, I believe, Scott, right?
Two. Mhm.
Yeah.
And I'm a
So can you
three.
tell
So
us?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's maybe just go into one of you. Why don't we just pick on one of you? Maybe Gino, if you don't mind being a guinea pig. Well, let's just give people an example of one type and how it works, and then we can maybe go a little deeper as time allows. So you said you were an Enneagram type 7, and well, tell me what does that mean for you? What's your understanding of what the 7 is?
So I've done the Enneagram testing before.
Yeah.
So a seven, from what I understand, is wants to avoid pain, which
Hmm.
I've spent much of my youth avoiding pain in many ways. Um, and do whatever, like, hey, let's not deal with that. They have problems for sure, but
Hmm.
we don't. So let's just go have some fun,
Right.
and let's go find some fun and make some fun. And in regards to money, when I discovered credit cards, it's like, oh, look, you swipe here and fun happens, and you swipe here and that one doesn't work no more. Well, look, this new one does, and
Yeah.
swipe here and sign there, and the money comes in, and with no understanding that I was digging the hole deeper for myself financially.
Yeah. All right. So I know what your money monster is. That's easy to figure out. But let's explain to the so type sevens, we often call them the enthusiast. And I use some car metaphors because sometimes it's helpful for folks. And I call type sevens the SUV of egos because they're ready to go anywhere and do anything as long as it doesn't involve being in their pain in the present moment. And so the thing with each type, and as we mentioned a little bit in the previous interview about, how your type is developed, but for a 7, what it means is you experienced a lot of fear in your childhood environment that you learned to externalize. So what does
Mm.
that mean? Is you learned that the outside world around you wasn't safe necessarily. It's the fear that the outside world wasn't going to meet your needs. There was either inconsistent parenting or things were maybe a little chaotic, or it was stressful for you, and the outside world didn't meet your need, so you learned to go meet it for yourself. Like if the world isn't going to provide for me, I'm going to go out there and get it for myself, and I don't want to be in this pain, so I'm going to go find the resources and the things that are going to take me out of this pain. So that greatest fear for a 7, then of course, is being trapped in pain or privation. So that they're always looking for ways to escape that. So often for sevens, one of the hallmark traits, I don't know if this resonates with you, Gino, sevens often have fear of missing out or FOMO. Like they're always like, what's next? Oh boy, oh boy. It's why we call them the enthusiast because they're always kind of excited for the next adventure. And we say that they're always kind of stuck in planning mode. They're always planning for what's next and looking forward with eager anticipation to whatever's coming next. So they don't have to be here right now where
Mm.
things might be uncomfortable, where the pain really sits. So, and then each type has we say a worst vice. And so the worst vice for the 7 is gluttony. It's that it isn't just about food, it's about experiences and opportunities and the next thing. And so, how this is going to play in with money. And now, what I've layered on top of the Enneagram is what I call the attachment theory of money, which is the same as the attachment theory of relationships, if anyone listening knows what that is. But essentially, what the thesis is that there's two kind of stress responses you have around money when you're in your shadow, when you're in, when you're unhealthy, but not always. And when you're unhealthy, you have two tendencies. One is we call to be the gorger, and the other one is to be the grabber. And one is a money avoidant style, and one is a money anxious style. So the money avoidant, the one who doesn't really want to deal with the responsibility or deal with the bills or deal with, call them the gorger, right? Meaning that money comes in and they gorge on it on experiences and opportunities. It's that credit card that you're swiping. Oh, fun comes in, right? I'm gorging myself on the fun. And much like the prodigal son is a good metaphor for the gorger, like then there's a reckoning that comes due, and it's quite painful and quite difficult. So that's one manifestation, and that's the money avoidant is the gorger, and then the money anxious who really obsesses around money, and there's a lot of biblical parables around being too concerned about money. But for a seven, it call it the grabber. It means you want to grab as much of it as you can and hold on to it because you think that's going to keep you from ever having to experience that pain or privation or being in
Yes.
lack. Does that track with
Yeah,
your experience?
that tracks. I think I'm a gorger for
Yeah.
sure. And I get offended at the grabbers. Like these billion, like what, how much property and applause do they need, right? So I
Hmm.
can spot it in others, but I don't spot it in myself. What
Hmm.
before this work?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
that
yeah,
gives you a little
that does
framework.
track. That does track.
All right. And then there's a whole shadow side. We could go into your shadow structure. We could go into your enlightenment structure, and then ultimately get you to be a money master, right? And there's a whole, this is what the workshop's going to go into is like, how did your type develop? What's your shadow? What are your money monsters? And then what's that ultimate path to healing of those wounds so you can become a money master? And for the money master for the seven, I call you the grounded. So if your monsters are gorge or grabber, there's some alliteration there, then your money master is you're grounded. You're grounded in the present moment. You're grounded in a healthy relationship to your finances, and you're able to use that wealth that you've developed and the resources that you have really as a tool to love and serve others.
I love that. Well, and it's not necessarily too, it's about loving those monsters, right? And recognizing them, giving them
Right.
a hug, giving them an apple, taking them for a walk.
Right. That's why it's
Yeah.
called taming your money monsters. It's not
Yes.
killing your money because
Yeah. Not
this is
killing,
the
not denying.
no, it's about embracing with love and compassion
Right.
and acceptance because the more you throw fear or shame or guilt on top of them, the louder they howl, the worse
Right.
they get,
Oh, yeah.
right? And so it's
So we're
really
not scapegoating. It's like, oh, it's
uh-uh.
their fault. Yeah. It's
No, it's about
loving them
embracing
up.
those dark sides, embracing those wounds, accepting yourself for who you are, and seeing it, and loving those yourself into, and accepting the love from the community around you, to be able to move into a healthier way of being.
Yes. I want to get to the place where I can take my money monster for a picnic
Hmm.
with homemade food,
Hmm.
not stuff I bought
Hmm.
on credit card. Thank you. Thank you for the insight. I
Yeah.
can't wait to be there.
Yeah. So Scott, if you want to tackle yours really quickly, we're still kind of circling around type one and type two, but I think we've come to type two is really the core
Yeah, pretty
wound.
much type two. Yeah,
Yeah.
is the core one.
And then so for type two, we call them the helper. I call them the ambulance of egos, which is really interesting for someone who was a paramedic.
It fits in more ways than one.
Right? And so for the type two, I call them the ambulance because they're often running around rescuing other people and helping other people, but often have a hard time taking care of themselves. And so in your childhood, what you got hit with probably what was likely a lot of grief or shame about how you perceived yourself. And you took that grief and you externalized it. And so it's a grief or shame about how you think the world sees you. And so that creates the greatest fear for a type two of being fundamentally unlovable. And so they're trying to win or earn that love and approval through acts of service and kindness, which are great. We love you for those acts of kindness and service. Thank you. But sometimes there's can be a little bit of a strings attached. It's like I'm giving to kind of get. I want the gratitude coming back at me, I want the adoration or the love comes back from my service to try to heal that inner sense of not being loved or not being validated as a child. And so where that can get you into trouble for two, the two money monsters, one's avoidant and one's anxious. I call them the bleeder and the bonder. So the bleeder is sort of the money avoidant type two. And what happens is you tend to bleed out your money, your time, your talent, your treasures in service to others. It's kind of like a hemophiliac with a paper cut fetish. Like you just end up
Mhm.
draining yourself, overextending yourself to others. And then sometimes if that love that you're looking for doesn't come back, it can turn into a kind of vengeance, a kind of lashing out at the world in anger because you haven't been seen and validated the way you wanted to be. So that's the bleeder, that's the money avoidant type two, is not taking care of yourself essentially while taking care of everybody else. And then the other kind of shadow side that's possible is what I call the bonder. And what I mean by that, the money anxious type two is someone who maybe takes their resources and uses it to create codependence in the people around them. And they can get kind of trapped in that. I don't know if that resonates with you, but what sometimes with twos, like there's the old adage, right? It's better to it's better to teach a person to fish than to give them a fish every
Right.
day. And sometimes with twos, what they want to do is they want to give a person a fish every single day with a side of tartar sauce and a note that says you're amazing because they want to maintain that gratitude coming back at them
Mhm.
contiguously. And that can be a spiritual trap and a financial trap for them as well. So I don't know if either of those resonate with you at all.
Oh yeah, the bleeder's the most one, and I would say that goes along with. I always use the like the biblical excuse of how money doesn't matter. You don't need to worry about that. Just pray to God and just whatever happens, happen.
Right,
And so I could that justified
right.
everything else. But one of the things with the type two, like you said, you're needing that.
Fix.
It it never lasts.
Right,
No matter how many people you help or save, or
right,
as a paramedic, I've had you know it's a tragedy, but I've helped people too. And when I help someone, it was and someone's grateful. It was to me, it was never. Well, that was luck. You just got lucky. It just you're lucky. This just worked out.
yeah.
But when I failed, it was all on me
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because I was never enough. I was not good enough,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and so I'm always like when I told my father I was going to be a paramedic. He told me it was a waste of time. I would never make money. I would never make money off of it.
Right.
So it was a waste of time. So saving people's lives for a living was a waste of time.
Oof.
So when I graduated paramedic school, I graduated one out of 10. I was 10th in the class. We graduated 10. And I was like, oh my God, I'm the last in the class. And my friend goes, hey, knucklehead, do you remember how many people started? 32 people. He goes, 32 people started this program and only 10 were left.
Yeah.
Because it was not enough.
Yeah.
It wasn't good enough
Yeah.
because of that two or one, like you keep saying, and I got to keep hoping. I keep hoping, and maybe this time, maybe this time, maybe this time.
Yeah.
And oh, I don't have to worry about money. I mean, look, it says in the Bible, don't worry about money. Or
Right.
that's what I'm talking. I'm like,
Yeah.
so I went
Yep.
most of my life so broke, couldn't afford to pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, instead of being smart about it and trying to build myself up about it, I use and I'm gonna my Catholic upbringing. Money's evil and this and that. So wow, I don't have to worry about it. And
Right.
yet everybody kept having to bail me out. My friends had to bail me out when I got arrested. My friends, like it was a constant. I was a financial drain. They
Yeah.
loved me to death, but
Yeah.
as it well, sorta, they helped me. But I was there goes that like the bond, like I didn't intentionally bond, but they kept bailing me out
Yeah.
because I didn't need it. Look, it's coming anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So
And this
constantly.
healing work is about getting those monsters and with courage, grace, and dignity, as you
Yes.
mentioned from the first interview.
Yeah.
yeah.
This really is about the healing. We go through the pain to get to the healing.
Yeah.
to heal
Exactly.
the monsters.
Right.
It's the old adage, how you do anything is how you do everything.
Yeah. Right.
Doing the healing work, I don't care what it is, you got to go through it.
Yeah. And when
Whether
you
it's
heal that,
money,
it can heal your money
yeah,
and it can heal relationships. It can heal your businesses. It can heal so many things. The way you communicate, the way you love. It's really all about. Was really what it comes down to, is being able to find that compassion for yourself and that self love, and being able to then have more of it internally, so you have more to give to the world.
Yes, and that could, I mean, it heals our myself, my family, my neighborhood, my community, my state. I mean, it just keeps on
Yeah.
growing. It's got to start somewhere. So, as the 12 steppers say, let it begin with me.
Right.
Let it begin with me.
Yep. That's it.
Yes.
Amen.
when you do better, you do better.
Yep.
Yes.
That's how it works.
Well, one of the key, and we can, I know I want to be mindful of your time, Doug, but thank you for these examples. And we're thrilled that you're on this journey, that you're an authentic man having his own journey, and you're standing shoulder to shoulder with us as we have ours. We can lift each other up when necessary, and let's celebrate the successes. Last year, Stevie Avalos from Homeboy
Oh, homeboy.
Industries was at the retreat, and he said such a truth that I think resonates with so many of why we do this work. Stevie was talking about his journey, but it applies, I think, to anybody on a spiritual path who has grace, courage, and dignity flourishing. He said, all I know is this: who I was is not who I am.
Yeah. Yeah. And that path to growth is really what we want to help people on their journey with this retreat. Is how do we help you grow faster, more effectively, more mindfully, and like I said, with more grace and dignity, so that you can then be that tool for love and service to the world,
Yes, yes, and
Perfect.
and
Yep.
yes.
find your real purpose. Like, what's that purpose that God put you here? What's that mission that you were here to serve? What's that crack in the world that's broken that only you can fix?
So, Doug, is the Enneagram your purpose in the world?
Well, it's part of it. It's for within my Enneagram type as a type three. Type three is what so each type has a divine purpose. So and so for sevens, it's what I call divine fulfillment. Like, the
Ah,
thing that you struggle with the most, when you overcome it, becomes your greatest gift to give to the world, right? So for sevens, the thing you have the hardest time is finding fulfillment in the moment, right? Because you're always reaching for the next thing. So your great gift is divine fulfillment, is helping bring fulfillment to others, helping them find that groundedness in the present moment. Because that's the hardest thing for you to achieve,
mhm.
is the thing you're most capable of teaching others to have. And for Scott, it's divine love, right? Because being choose when they're their healthiest are able to express divine love more effectively than the rest of us, and really bring it, because it's the thing that you feel most lacking inside of yourself. And then for threes, to your questions, it's divine purpose. So for a three, which we didn't kind of go into, our greatest wound is feeling fundamentally worthless. So we feel like we have no value or place in the world. And so when we find that value inside of ourselves, and purpose for being, then we can able to help others find their place and their purpose as well. And I think the Enneagram is a big part of that purpose. Is like, that is really kind of a hallmark of teaching it, is to bring your help. My purpose is to help you find your purpose. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Mhm.
Right?
yes, yeah.
Like, what is
Yeah,
that
we got to
purpose?
give it away to keep it, to
Right.
feast it. Yeah, yeah.
Right. And what is that thing that I can point towards, that can build, that's bigger than myself, that's going to help bring, the world forward in a
Oh.
healthier way.
That's
That brings it
wonderful.
full circle.
Mhm.
It does.
One of the goals of Illumin, one of our aspirations is that we become generative men, generous,
Mhm.
that we're able to not do it ourselves, but to allow it to be done to us and through us as us.
Mhm.
The great, beautiful, original blessing of it.
Mhm.
Uh, so for men who want to find more about this work, Please visit Doug's webpage. Repeat that webpage again,
It's my
Doug.
name, DougLynam.com, DougLynam.com. And my email is also my name, DougLynam@gmail.com. So if anyone wants to reach out and connect, I'd be honored to make that connection with you.
Yes, and please read Doug's new book, How to Tame Your Money Monsters.
Please
Take
do.
his YouTube talk is The Money Monk. Wonderful.
Mhm.
There's an Enneagram test that you can take for free online. Our Iluman New Mexico retreat is September 23rd through 27th, Wednesday to Sunday. Doug is just one of two wisdom elders. It's going to be spectacular. And Doug, Scott, let's do a deep breath for the men and the women who are hearing this out there, that somehow, some way, um, this conversation and our work would contribute to the flourishing of their own purpose,
Yes,
divine purpose.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Deep breath.
Sending
Thank you,
everyone
Doug.
lots of love. Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
Yes,
Doug.
thank you.